But I thought let's get started. We're a big group of people here today. Welcome to this introduction to Sana. Before we get started, I wanted to take a little bit the temperature in the room. So put yourself on the left-hand side of the scale if you need one more coffee, and on the right-hand side if you're energized and excited. I always think this one is a little bit tricky because I always want one more coffee and I'm still energized and excited. So I have to do like a 2x2 matrix soon, I think, to be able to capture the right response. Sonia is in one more coffee. Feel free to get one while we get started. Okay, really good to see. We have an energized group here. Again, very welcome to this Sana live session. My name is Samuel. I work in the business development team at Sana. So really helping our customers make the best of the Sana platform and drive the business impact that they intend to do. I've been with the Sana team almost 4 years and have a background as a management consultant. And I'm joined here today by my colleague Jenny. So maybe you want to give a short introduction of yourself as well.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Super nice to meet you. My name is Jenny, and I'm part of the growth team at Sana. But for the next 30 minutes, I'll be your chat moderator and timekeeper.
Thank you. And we're going to record this session as well, so you'll be able to access it afterwards. So just a quick overview of the agenda. So we're going to start a bit with logistics. Then we'll give an overview of the vision of Sana and the mission that we're currently on. We're going to give an overview of the Sana platform and also do a demo. Then we're going to talk a little bit around how our partners use the platform, and then we're going to wrap up. Just a few ground rules. So since we're a fairly big group of people here, feel free to react to ideas and comments with emojis at the bottom of the screen. That's also where you can find the mute button and the video. Feel free to also raise your hand if you want to speak and ask something. But you can also ask questions in the chat in the top right corner, where Jenny will be moderating that chat if you want to be less disruptive to the flow. But feel free to also stop me. And before we get started, we wanted to understand what's your name and role and what brought you to this session, so we can make sure to curate the best content for today. So in this white box, feel free to add your name and role and what brought you to this session, and hit submit button at the bottom left corner. I'll give everyone just 1 minute. Right, good to see a few answers coming in. Some recommendations from colleagues, innovation team, that's good. We're working a lot with innovation. Luis is curious about the platform. Rosie at Thought Machine, interested in using the platform. Rodrigo from Skolmyndigheten. Product owner, curious how we can improve and optimize learning. Working on a side project to upgrade learning culture in company. That's a real side project. I'm impressed. I want to hear more later. Tom is looking for new LMS and authoring tools. Looking for new learning technologies. Sonia, excited to learn more about Sana's mission. Gustav from Skolmyndigheten, recommended from a colleague. Curious about the platform. Thank you so much for sharing all of your intentions. We're definitely going to be able to cater to all of the needs that you have here today. I see a few people still typing, but we have to move on to the next one. There we have product manager at Amazon, personally interested in L&D tools, want to learn more about AI in e-learning, Gothenburg, Sweden. Super. So before we jump into the product and the more concrete stuff, I wanted to give you just a background to our company and the vision and mission. So quick background story. We're a Stockholm-based learning technology company founded 2016. We have our headquarters in Stockholm, but have offices in London as well, and opening in New York later this year. Around 65 people, growing to 90 towards the end of the year. And the company was really founded around this idea and vision that everything really starts with learning. All the human advancements that starts with learning, but also building sustainable competitive advantage for companies. That also starts with learning. And if we can be a part of improving how learning is being created and delivered, we can be a part of improving everything else. And the idea has always been around how we can leverage advancements in new technology and new algorithms, such as machine learning, to improve human learning. And I think we're at a super interesting time at the moment where we're seeing advancements of generative AI really change how humanity access information. And we're really at this inflection point at the moment where everything is changing. Similar to how access to information changed with the printing press, or how access to information changed with internet. And we're so excited to be at the forefront of driving this evolution. But going over a little bit more concretely how the Sana platform works. Sana is an all-in-one learning platform that brings together a lot of different tools that previously was captured in several different platforms. So going from a quite fragmented experience, we can bring that all together in one holistic and coherent experience end-to-end for digital learning. The first part of the Sana platform is what we call Sana Create. This is our content creation and e-learning creation tool where you can create very interactive, beautiful, self-paced training material, but you can also build those live sessions that we're sitting in today. Our content creation tool is fully collaborative, so you can work together with colleagues, with subject matter experts to really unleash the power of the entire organization. This tool is also, of course, AI assisted, so you can work together with the Sana assistant to produce better learning content. So that's the first part of the Sana platform. The second part of the Sana platform is what we call Sana Learn. This is our distribution layer of training. So here we work a lot with personalization, recommending the right piece of content to the right person at the right time, while making it incredibly easy to explore and discover all of the training that exists in the organization. We also have this virtual classroom where we essentially bring together a multitude of different tools into one of the same experience. So you have the PowerPoint presentation capabilities with those slides that you see. You have the interactive elements that we saw previously. We have the video and audio streaming. We have the recording and then giving access to that afterwards. So we can really consolidate the stack and make it more seamless, make it more consumer grade. So you'll get mostly kind of a meta demo of the live solution here today through sitting in this platform. And then the last piece is around the management and automation around all the learning programs, all the users that you have, and doing very powerful follow-up on the performance of students, of employees, etc. So that's an overview. We're going to capture all of the different elements through the demo. But if there's any questions, feel free to add them already now. Otherwise, we'll jump into the live demo. Sounds like it's very clear. Then we'll go ahead and do the demo. All right, so what you're seeing right now is the home screen in a demo environment in Sana. So at the top here, I have the search capabilities where I can easily find courses or information that I'm looking for. But then below, I have all of the recommendations for me as a user. There's a few different tabs here. I can move over to my library where I can find all of the content. I can move over to Create where I can obviously create learning content, and I can also move over to manage, where I do all of the management, automation, and reporting. So here at the top, we have a number of recommendations that might be based on upcoming due dates. So for example, in this case, the Sana's company handbook is due on May 9th. So it's about time that I get started, but I might have a few other recommendations as well. And this might be content that has been assigned to me by my organization, but it might also be content that is relevant for me in my role, given what I've consumed in the past, but also given what my colleagues and peers have consumed. The content that we have in the platform can be both natively created content from Sana, but you can also bring in external content from, for example, LinkedIn Learning. So this is just a quick overview of the home screen. I thought I would actually show you as well the search capabilities in Sana. And this is something that we're investing quite a lot in at the moment. So as I mentioned, we're really at this inflection point where everything is changing as it relates to learning and how we access information. And one of the things that we believe will change this dramatically is search capabilities. In Sana, we have built something that we call universal search, which becomes almost like a ChatGPT-like experience for all of your company information. So in this experience, we do search all of the content that you have available in the Sana platform, but we can also connect this to other productivity apps or other knowledge apps in your organization. In my case, at Sana, we use a productivity stack made up out of Sana, of course, Google Drive, and Slack. So when I search for something, I will get search results across all of those different apps. So here you can see I have one course in Sana, but I also have a few documents in Google Drive, and then I have a few documents in Slack as well. So this is the ranking part of it. But then what's super powerful is that I also get an answer from the Sana assistant answering my question. So here you can see that it says DRI stands for Directly Responsible Individual. It's a framework used at Sana and so on. And here I can find the reference to where this information was found. So we not aim to just provide the same as you would find on ChatGPT, but actually unleash the power of all the knowledge in your organization, which is incredibly powerful. And what's really cool about this functionality as well is that Sana moves beyond just being a formal training tool and becomes more of a job aid as well, where people can go to Sana every day to solve problems that they might have. So this creates more of a daily and weekly engagement, where some of the legacy learning platforms out there might have been driving more of a quarterly or yearly usage. So this is really good for engagement, driving people here, becoming the home screen for learning and knowledge. So that's quickly on the search capabilities. I thought I would go in quickly here to how it looks to consume one of the courses in Sana, and then we'll jump over to the creation part of Sana. So here, I'll take this one, Sana's company handbook. So whenever someone starts a Sana, one of the first things they're tasked to do is to go through our company handbook. And this is a course in where Sana comes from, our mission, how we work, etc. And we call it the Infinite Game. So when people go in here, they have the overview of the content on the left-hand side and then the content here. And it's very easy for people to just proceed and consume the content. And now how this content looks and works is doesn't really have any limits. So it's up to your creativity to define the content. But you can, for example, add videos as part of the training.
Elements.
I'm not gonna show it all, but you can also add things such as reflection cards or questions to really capture more social parts of learning. So here, when I take my first course, I can see what did other people think when they started Sana. So someone might have been excited to support customers at a global scale, or they really like their manager. And that's why they came to Sana, or just that they like the mission-driven culture. So this is a super easy way for people to consume the content and progress. And what's really cool is that these kind of social interactions also They drive kind of more social learning, but they also drive additional capture for your organization to really save all of that precious understanding of customers, for example, or whatever it might be. And this also becomes searchable through Sana's search engine. So that's quickly on just home screen, recommendations, search, the learning experience. I thought we would go into the content creation capabilities. So if I hit here, create new, I'll be able to create new learning content. The way we work with our partners is to decentralize content creation more and more and bring in as many people into the content creation process as possible. And this is also one part of this vision of being able to decentralize and unleash the entire power of the organization. So when you create some new content, you can decide to start from scratch. You can start from one of the organization's templates. So let's say that you're an L&D team and you want to drive high consistency and quality in the organization, then you can create templates that people in the organization can start from. You can also choose from our community templates. So this is where some of our customers and experts have created really good, powerful, engaging templates for various topics. But you can also choose from any of our existing course and live meeting templates. And some of those are actually ready-built courses, but we call them templates just because you can edit them. But I'm going to go ahead and choose a template on acing your online communication. So if I choose this one, I'll go in directly into the editor experience, where I have similarly the structure of the content here on the left-hand side and my editor experience on the right-hand side. This is a what you see is what you get editor, so very easy to just format and edit the content so it looks the same here as on the learner side. As mentioned, it's a fully collaborative editor as well, so I can, for example, tag someone here and say, hey, can you have a look to make it much easier to produce that content together. We have both those full screen learning experience, which are more similar to slides, but they can also be interactive. You can also build more scrollable formats, more similar to a blog kind of style. And this is what we call a page card. So here you can work with columns, you can embed videos, you can do wide format if you wanted to do that, and so on. You can even record videos directly in Sana with something that we call a narration. So very easy to use. You can add a multitude of different cards, anything from flip cards, poll cards, exercises that people have to upload, questions, embeds, videos, whatnot. So it's a really wide range of cards that you can add here. As mentioned, we're also working a lot on the AI-powered components of Sana. So let's say that I wanted to add a question here towards the end of the second module. And then I can just add a question and hit generate. What happens then is that Sana will look at all of the content preceding this question and provide me with a suggested question. In this case, which of the following are tips for good lighting? And since we're in the pre-flight checks of acing your online communication, this seems sensible. Maybe I want to remove one of the options and I want to add some explanation if someone answers right, that I can do here as well. So super easy to work with. Assistant works in many different parts of the platform. So if I wanted to create some content on introduction to radical candor, it's not really related to acing your online communication, but just to showcase the functionality, I can use the Sana assistant here. And I can say, for example, continue writing. What Sana will do then is that I will continue writing based on the content that I've added here. So the Sana assistant makes it super easy to automate some of this workflow and come up with a first tab, and then you can edit the content as well. You can fully brand your experience as well, so add your colors, your fonts, your logos to really make this feel as your company's knowledge. All right, so we're also going to capture a little bit more around the management capabilities of Sana. And to make this a little bit easier to have representative data, we'll capture it here directly with a few screenshots. So just a few concepts that I want to introduce and how we typically work with automation and management. The first one is that we very often rely on an integration with an HR system or an external system to automate user provisioning and decommissioning. And from those systems, we typically get the user attributes as well. So where is a person based? In what department are they working? What is their start date, etc. And this is generally the basis for all automation, for all reporting, and so on and so on. So what you're seeing in this tab is just an overview of all the users, but we have selected a filter for all the users that are either in design, engineering, or product, and belong to the city of Stockholm. And what I can do with this information, that's a lot of different things. One thing that I can do is just ad hoc analysis on completion of those users. So I can bring up something that we call a heat map. So here I will very neatly get an overview of those users as rows and a few column items and see who completed what. And I have some controls here as well to see everything, if it was assigned or if it was self-search, for example. I can also use this filtering to create what we call a smart group. And a smart group makes sure to always stay up to date with the users that belong to that group. So if someone moved from Stockholm to Berlin, they will be removed from that smart group. These smart groups then obviously make it easier to, in the future, do analysis, but also to assign manager responsibility, etc. So here I can set up a smart group, which might be staff in Stockholm, and I can just have an overview of what those users are. So user attributes, heat maps, and smart groups. Those are three essential concepts. We can then also bring up the heat map on the group level to compare the completion rates or performance across different groups, which makes it really easy to kind of gamify an experience, for example, show to all the managers who has been performing best with their direct reports, etc. Another thing that we can do is that we can automate entire programs. So let's say that you wanted to do an onboarding journey for everyone that starts at Sana. And then you can work again with this that we call programs. And programs is a way for you to predefine when different assignments will happen to employees. So in this case, hopefully you're following me now. I see I have 25 followers. That's more than on Instagram. I can start with a welcome email, just saying, hey, welcome to Sana. Then directly, when the enrollment happens, I can assign a live session. For example, this is Polestar. It's just an example. After 2 days, we can do another content assignment, the Polestar way, which has a due date 2 days after. After 4 days, we can do another assignment on the Polestar brand, which has a due date 2 days after that. So it makes it very easy to just set everything on autopilot, especially when it comes to onboarding programs or other programs. And you can work with drip feeding of content. You can also specify when this program will start with enrollment rules, where you can set a specific date, for example, June 1st, or you want to base it on the start date of a user. Once people have consumed it, they can also earn a certificate. So that's an overview of Sana Create, of Sana Learn, of the search capabilities, of Manage. Just a few points as well. Of course, I think you've already understood that, but we're super passionate about leveraging AI and using AI as a tool to improve human learning. We also work a lot with making online learning more human, with the use of narrations, with the use of this live classroom. And when we work with our partners, we also take a big pride in being a strategic learning partner, not just a transactional vendor, but being a learning partner, helping our partners build better L&D programs, inviting them to our communities, sharing best practices. So that's something that we're super, super excited about as well. When it comes to the different use cases that our partners use Sana for, they really span a multitude of different areas. But some of the most common that we've seen is running, engaging, and inspiring leadership programs. Onboarding is a really common thing that, and we do pre-boarding there. We work with sales enablement to empower sales teams to perform better in their roles and get ramped up much more quickly. We do compliance training, and we also support with external training, and that might be training partners and customers. So we're closing in on the end here. Before we take it to the end, we just wanted to ask you, what use cases do you see in your organization for Sana? I'll give everyone just 30 seconds, perhaps, and then we'll have a few closing remarks. Right, we see a few train customers. Yeah, that's a good one. We're seeing that more and more. Holistic management of learning and development, L&D, onboarding and empowering sales teams, improving knowledge search across service functions. First, we need to run the analysis. That's a good point. Never start with the technology. Start with the impact and the needs. Use it for all of our learning and development needs. Courses for elected officials, sales onboarding, keeping up with latest developments. Super, thank you so much. Those all sounds like really brilliant use cases. So we're closing in on the end here. So before we round it off for today, we would like to know if you want to know more about Sana and how to partner with us. So yes, I'd like to speak with Asinian. Open to receiving more information or not at the moment. Feel free to just tab the picture corresponding to what you want. And with that said, we're super excited to have had the opportunity to host you all this morning. I hope you learned a lot about Sana, our mission, but also more concretely about what the product does. So we're really much looking forward to keeping in touch, and feel free to also reach out directly to myself after this session if you have any more questions or any ideas that you want to bounce. For the ones of you that wanted to stay in touch, we'll make sure to reach out afterwards as well. Thank you so much for tuning in, and have a really good Wednesday.